Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. Today's video is about a pastor that received no prison time for sexual abuse of a family member. I did find an article about it. I'm going to read it from christianpost.com, and I'm going to read the article to you, and then when I'm done reading, I will give my opinion. So the article's title is Former Chi Alpha Pastor Gets No Prison Time for Sexual Abuse of Family Member by Leonardo Blair, Senior Reporter, Wednesday, April 3rd, 2024. William C. Robinson, a former pastor for Corpus Christi, Texas, chapter of the embattled Chi Alpha Campus Ministries, who pleaded guilty to the continuous sexual abuse of an underage family member beginning when she was 9, will serve no prison time. Robinson received 10 years of probation as part of a plea deal agreed to on March 22nd. He is also required to do 120 hours of community service and parenting classes, according to Chris, K-R-I-S. His internet access will also be monitored, and he must abide by a curfew from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. He is required to stay away from his victim. Robinson, who was arrested on June 11, 2022, pleaded guilty to 1 count of continuous sexual abuse of a child under 14, 1 count of sexual assault of a child, and 3 counts of indecency with a child. His abuse of the family member is reported to have occurred between July 11, 2015 and June 27, 2022. In exchange for his guilty plea, Robinson can remove the charges from his record at the end of his probation. Mark Forrest, Assemblies of God, Director of Communications and Public Relations, told Chris, K-R-I-S, that Robinson has not worked with Chi Alpha or held Assemblies of God credentials since 2022. Chi Alpha, which is a campus ministry located on around 300 college campuses globally with the support of the Assemblies of God, has been under fire in recent months. Ministry organizers were accused of allowing Daniel Zavala, a 67-year-old itinerant minister and convicted sex offender, to prey on young males for more than 2 decades. Former Assemblies of God pastor J.R. Armstrong of Mag Church in Orange, Texas, recently announced that his congregation voted to follow in his footsteps and disaffiliate from the Assemblies of God in response to the Chi Alpha scandal. Considering the current crisis being faced by this district and fellowship, the board decided that recommending disfiliation was in our best interest. End quote. In the time between 2018 and April of 2023, it's undeniable that at least 3 minor children were molested by him. These 3 boys were allegedly victimized as a direct result of the inaction of elected leadership of the Assemblies of God to follow through on the knowledge that they admit they had at the time. Armstrong argued 2 of them were sons of an active Chi Alpha missionary. One of them, who filed suit in North Texas a few weeks ago, was actually 13 at the time. I am disgusted that this predator was allowed to have a plea deal and no prison time. I just don't understand judges. I don't understand the law. I need to really research and find out why sexual offenders are allowed to have plea deals. I recall reading about several stories regarding sexual abusers being allowed to have a plea deal, and I just don't understand it. How do you not get prison time? Or how do you get such a reduced prison time? Like, it's not making any other sense other than that the people who are allowing them to get these plea deals, they must be sexual offenders as well, because it's not making any other kind of sense. If you have a child of your own, or if there's children in your family and you're a human, you have a heart, you wouldn't be able to sleep at night knowing that you let a sexual offender get off easily. So they must think they was doing something when they said that, he has to do 120 hours of community service, parenting classes, limited internet access or monitor internet access and a curfew, a sexual offender can still get around that. As long as he out here in the free world, he can still find another victim. He can still abuse. Like, it's not making sense, and I don't understand. My heart goes out to the child and the child's family to know that your abuser is free in the world, and even though he is on probation, he still has access to things that can allow him to get around you. Can you imagine accidentally seeing the offender in the grocery store and he abused you? It's not right. And I think people, if you hear about stories like this and it's happening in your town, your state, you need to be writing these lawmakers. You need to be writing the judges, like the judge who allowed him to get a plea deal, the prosecutors, all of them, they need to be ashamed of themselves. How can you go to sleep at night knowing you let a sexual abuser get away with something like that? That kind of behavior cannot be changed. A grown man knew exactly what he's doing. He's not sorry. I could understand if it was like a little kid. You know what I'm saying? Kids don't understand certain things and maybe they were abused themselves, things happen. But once you're an adult, it's your job to get some help. So it's hard for me to have any sympathy for adult abusers of children, because you have access to everything. You have access to education, the internet. It's all kind of things to help you educate yourself and learn about why you're having these urges or to heal yourself from your trauma. It makes me feel uncomfortable knowing that we're walking around sexual offenders all the time and they're just getting slaps on the wrist. No one is monitoring them enough. Like, you know how many stories I've heard about where the sexual abuser was able to basically get loose and get another victim? It happens all the time. I'm not understanding why history is not teaching these judges, these prosecutors, why y'all not going hard in the paint? There's some crimes that they go way too hard on, in my opinion, that's not sexual related or violent. You know what I'm saying? Non-violent crimes. These are the kind of crimes that they should be going hard in the paint on. These are the kind of crimes that they should be throwing the book at these people. These are the kind of crimes that the prosecutor should be going hard, like their life depends on winning the case. Because, a prosecutor, their job is to win. Again, my heart goes out to the victim. My heart goes out to anyone who was a victim of child abuse. And if you were victimized by your pastor, that is such a, that's a really tough situation to be in. Because, you do think that you're going to church to find a safe haven. You feel like a pastor or a minister is supposed to be like a leader, but you really can't put anything past anyone. And titles mean nothing because it's just a costume. At the end of the day, it's just a costume. People know how to pretend and be fake. So you just got to be vigilant. Parents, you need to watch your children. Parents, please educate your children. And don't let your guard down because someone is so-called a pastor or a minister or in a high position. Like, they're still human. And you don't know what's in their brain. You don't know what their childhood history is. So you just got to be smart. It's not much to say about this disgusting story. Please leave a comment. Let me know how you feel about the story. Do you feel that sexual abusers should be able to have plea bargains? What do you think their punishment should be? Y'all already know how I feel. They should be in life in prison or shipped to North Korea. Period. But anyway, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I hope to see you in the comments.